What if you could fundamentally change your relationship with stress in just 1 week? I know, it sounds like a big claim, but today we're going to break down a 7-day challenge that uses simple, science-backed tools to build some serious mental resilience.
So, does this feel familiar? You know, that constant feeling of being stretched thin, just mentally exhausted or completely burnt out. It's become such a common part of modern life for so many of us. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be our default setting.
So, here's the big idea we're diving into, and it's all based on a personal experiment. It's a 7-day journey designed to basically reset your nervous system and build up the mental strength to handle, well, whatever life decides to throw at you.
Now, to pull this off, you don't need any complicated equipment or a ton of time. The whole challenge really relies on 2 core methods that are incredibly powerful and, best of all, accessible to anyone. So, let's open up the toolkit.
First up is contrast therapy. And I want you to think of this as literally weightlifting for your nervous system. By switching between hot and cold, say in the shower, you create a small controlled stressor. What this does is it trains your body to become more efficient and way less reactive to all the uncontrolled stress you face out there in the real world.
The second tool is breathwork. This one is like having a remote control for your own mind. And it's true. Your breath is one of the only levers you can consciously pull to directly talk to your nervous system. It lets you shift from a state of panic to a state of calm, just like that. And one of the key techniques here is 4-7-8 breathing. It's super simple. You breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7, and then you exhale slowly through your mouth for 8. That long, slow exhale, that's the magic part. It actually stimulates something called the vagus nerve, which basically sends a signal to your brain saying, hey, it's safe, we can calm down now. Okay, so with our toolkit in hand, let's walk through the actual 7-day experiment. Because this isn't just about theory, right? It's about seeing how these tools actually work in practice, day by day. This timeline gives us a fantastic overview of the emotional journey. You can see it starts with a shock, then it moves into adaptation, you hit an inevitable hurdle, and we all do, and it all leads to a breakthrough. This just shows that real growth is never a straight line. Some days are about making progress, and, some days are just about showing up.
So day 1, it starts with just 30 seconds of cold water. And yeah, as you can imagine, it is a huge shock to the system. Your first instinct is to panic, right? To tense up. But by immediately focusing on that 4-7-8 breath, you give your mind a job to do. So instead of just reacting, you're actively responding. You establish control right from that very first moment. After building a little consistency on day 2, by day 3, something really important starts to click. The brain actually begins to reframe the whole experience. That cold shower isn't just something to be endured anymore. It becomes a mental training ground. The mindset literally shifts from, I have to avoid this, to, I'm actively engaging with this.
And then comes day 4, the hurdle, the wall. And this is such a critical and honest point. Your motivation just dips. The challenge suddenly feels harder, not easier. And it's so tempting in that moment to think you're going backward. But this moment of struggle, this is actually the most important part of the entire training. So the crucial thing is what you do when you hit that wall. In this experiment, the solution wasn't just to push harder. It was actually to add another mental tool, a simple gratitude exercise right after the session. I mean, just listing 3 things to be thankful for was enough to shift the entire mindset and get over that dip. It's amazing. All right, so after pushing through that hurdle, the results, well, they start to become incredibly clear. Let's take a look at the tangible transformation that happened by the end of just 1 week.
This comparison really says it all, doesn't it? The journey from day 1 to day 7 is a massive shift from being at the mercy of your feelings, reactive and overwhelmed, to being in command of them. The stimulus, that cold water, is exactly the same, but the internal response is completely different, controlled, empowered, and calm.
So after pushing through that day 4 hurdle, days 5 and 6 were really all about cementing this new strength. And the benefits weren't just felt during the shower. They started to ripple out into the rest of the day, leading to things like sharper focus, a more stable mood, better sleep quality, and just an overall feeling of lower stress. This really shows how the training directly carries over into real life.
So what does all this mean for you? Well, I think the most powerful lesson from this entire experiment is about how we think about resilience itself. Let this one sink in for a second. Resilience isn't something you're just born with or not. It's a mental muscle. And just like any other muscle in your body, you can train it, you can strengthen it, and you can absolutely build it through consistent practice. So if you're feeling inspired to try this, the key is to start simple.
You do not need to go to extremes. Just 30 seconds of cold water at the end of your shower is plenty. The real goal here is consistency, not intensity. And please remember, focus on your own progress, not on trying to achieve some kind of perfect outcome.
And that really brings us to our final thought. This 7-day experiment proves that a significant change is absolutely possible in a very short amount of time. It's not about getting rid of stress, that's impossible, but it's about building the strength to handle it. So the real question is, what powerful shift are you ready to make?